Yep, we're live.
What's going on, guys? We got a special podcast here tonight. We got some beautiful ladies here at the table. Let's go. All right. We are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Purple Pill Pod, episode 67. Number one show in the world for dating right now, outside of Dallas, Texas, outside of DFW. No one else is doing it like we are right now in the DFW. Let's go. Please make sure to like the video on your way in and subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you can see every time we go live. Follow us on the podcast Instagram, Purple Pill Pod TX. Follow us on everything as far as all the beautiful ladies that we shouted out. We are now live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, and YouTube simultaneously. Go sign up for our new mentorship by scheduling a free consultation linked below. If you are seriously looking to become the best version of yourself, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, we implore you to go ahead and seek out mentorship to become the best version of yourself. See the link below. If you want to show support, you can do that by hitting the join button under the video to become a YouTube member, which comes with some perks like emojis for the super chat and stuff like that. We have all the ladies' Instagrams down below as well. We also have a merch store down below. We are now streaming on all audio platforms as well. Make sure to add the Instagrams right now so that you can see these pretty ladies. DM me if you are a lady out in Dallas, Texas. DM Sergio. DM the Purple Pill Pod if you are a single lady out there in Dallas, Texas. We are always seeking more ladies to get on the podcast. Shout out to the producer, Donnie, and obviously the backups, myself, Julian Throne, and Mr. Ramar right here. It's
Yes,
Ramar on IG. We do lots of street interviews along with Ramar as well, so we got a lot of things popping off in that aspect. We got some beautiful ladies in the building, so we'll start off with their name, age, education, work, and relationship status. We'll start over here.
Hi, my name is Perry. I am 31 years old.
Damn!
Originally from Dallas, Texas. I work in marketing, and what else did you need to know?
Your relationship status. And
I'm
your
single.
Yeah,
and I have a bachelor's working on my master's.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Keandra Scott. I have a bachelor's in psychology. I'm 21 years old, and I am a 5th grade math teacher.
I am Lexi. I am 23 years old. I have an associate's in business and one in pastry arts. And I'm a pastry chef. Relationship status is single.
Hi, I'm Bree. I'm 21. The question was what? What's the other question?
Just your age, your education, work, and relationship status.
My age, my work, YouTube, and what else?
Your relationship status.
My relationship. I'm single.
There you go.
Okay.
You're good.
Hello, I'm Lakia. I'm 26. I have a bachelor's in kinesiology, and I'm single.
Where your grades at? You got straight fucking L's and D's.
What about you, Mr. Ramar?
So, my name is Ramar. I'm 26. I'm from out here in Dallas. As far as my relationship status, I'm in a few. I'm going to keep it straight up with you. As far as like what I do, I'm an entertainer. I'm on YouTube. I do street interviews. I work behind the scenes on the Purple Pill podcast. I do a lot of like B-roll footage and camera work. And I help recruit beautiful ladies to come on the show. That's it.
Super excited tonight, guys. I mean, obviously, Sergio's not here. He's being a chivalrous gentleman, and he's with his woman tonight celebrating her birthday. And we'll be celebrating some more after this podcast, obviously. So we'll get on to the first question for all of the ladies here. How would you describe the typical male strategy for short-term dating? How does it differ from the female approach? You can start off over here.
I would say men these days, their short-term dating strategy is kind of horrible. They just kind of stick around until they can have sex with you. They just linger around until they can have sex with you. But I would prefer a guy to really pursue me and be romantic and actually care about me.
Be upfront?
Yeah.
About his intentions? How about yourself, Bree?
I think their short-term strategy is kind of like they'll try to tell you like, oh, I'm not looking for nothing serious right now, but kind of want to keep you around as a friend type thing. So I don't know. I just think that's...
Would you say that you friend zoned them first, though?
Absolutely. Beat you to the punch.
Alrighty.
I have not really been talking to anyone. I just got out of a 3-year relationship, and I'm not interested, so I haven't even seen how they are nowadays.
She's up for
So-
some fun, gentlemen. Hit her
DM
up.
her
No, the whole point
immediately.
of that is that I'm not up for fun. Leave
She
me alone,
belongs to the
please.
streets.
I feel like guys, short-term dating, it's kind of like what they were saying. Like, it's just like they're in it and they're all in and they're all great in the beginning, and then as time goes on, they're just sometimey, and I don't know, it gets iffy, or they're weird, just straight up weird. Like, no one likes weird vibes. So
Yeah, I echo that message. Like a lot of men, various ages are, weird, but it's always been I guess for men, it's always been a numbers game, and just understanding that for them is like, hey, you're going to be a number for a while until he decides to settle down.
Now, do they communicate that normally to you guys up front?
No, I think it's just with experience, you can kind of gauge okay, this person is moving this way, and so this is how I'm going to move.
Okay. All right. So, in your opinion, what are the key elements of a woman's long-term dating strategy? How do men approach long-term dating differently? And we'll start off with you, Perry.
I think men who want to be in long-term relationships, I think I've found that they're very upfront about it. They've very much been hey, I'm intentional about courting you. Let's move this way. We're going to move this way. This is how I want to lead our relationship. This is how I want to lead our, future household. And so that's how they've, I guess, shown me that in the past.
I got a question for you regarding that. So for those guys that do say they want long-term relationships, how does that differ from the guys that just want sex if they're not straightforward with you?
So the guys who differ, sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, for the guys that say they want long-term relationships, how does that differ from the guys that just want sex if the guys that want sex aren't being straightforward with you?
So the guys who want a long-term, they're usually more, not apprehensive, but they're usually more taking their time, just, trying to build a foundation before they want to move into it. Guys who just want sex are hey, what's your name? Let's get to the bedroom and stuff. So I guess that's been my experience. Does that answer your question?
Kind of. Because I could have swore, I think you just said that guys usually aren't straightforward about wanting sex.
Some guys are straightforward about just wanting sex, not all the time. So that's just been my experience.
Okay.
I feel like, wait, repeat the question one more time.
Yes. In your opinion, what are the key elements of a woman's long-term dating strategy, and how do men approach long-term dating differently?
Okay, I feel like the key elements in a woman that's dating or trying to date long term is that she's really, well, let me not say really submissive, but she feels safe around him to be submissive. And she knows that, she's locked in, she's not really talking to anyone else. And she kind of makes it clear to him, I want to see you all the time, I want to be with you. With guys, I feel like it's different because, well, I can agree with her. A lot of guys, they're straight up. If they want a relationship, they're oh, I'm not trying to be around the bush. I'm ready to get married. I'm ready to find my wife. But it can be tricky because sometimes guys that want short-term things, they'll say all that stuff too because that's what you want to hear.
Love bomb.
Yeah, and then, once they feel like they have you, then the energy switches up. So I guess it just really depends. You really just got to know if they're being genuine, and that's hard, but... yeah, because people are always full of shit.
I think that there have been men who have approached me, they're hey, I'm looking for a relationship. And I'm okay, that's great for you, I'm not. So if you want something really serious, I'm not in that place. And they're very quick to say, okay, I respect that. And immediately try and find someone who is. They're not picky, I feel like. When they're ready to settle down, they'll go find someone and settle down.
Wait, I got a follow-up question with that. So you're telling me if a guy comes up to you and says they want long-term relationship and you say, I'm not looking for that, they just up and leave?
Yeah, I've had people just ghost me and just completely stop talking to me because I was I'm not in a place to be in a relationship right now.
So they're not trying to follow up and fuck?
Not those ones.
The fuck you?
Wow.
That happened to me this week. Somebody told me that they didn't want to talk to me every day. They was they couldn't talk to me every day. They couldn't commit to talking to me
It's a
every
good thing. You probably get bored.
What
quickly.
is talking to you every day? Is it calls, text messages, or
talking to me every day would mean just being consistent. That's what I'll be looking for if I'm getting to know someone or see a future with them. Like, we have to be consistent in communication, no matter what that is, text, anything.
Could I ask you something? Do you believe in like living with your dating partner?
Not all the time.
Okay.
Now, question, ladies, because who's under 25 here? 2, 3. Okay. Would you say that these short-term relationships and long-term relationships are very different for women specifically before the age of 26 and then after the age of 27 specifically? Because from what we've noticed, a lot of women from ages 18 to 26 aren't really looking for long-term relationships. And it doesn't seem like they're looking for it until they start hitting that 27 to 32 age range, when they start hitting the epiphany phase and they start prioritizing parental aid, protection, and provisioning. But from 18 to 26, you're all about traveling and having fun and
Being on
getting
somebody's yacht. Somebody's Instagram.
Let me speak on that, because I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like one of the things about being young is that you got to understand that you're young. Like, you got to have that understanding. I don't think it's like, I'm just trying to live my life. No. I'm in a place where I know, because I don't want to get in a relationship, and now I'm in a relationship at 20 years old, and I'm crying, willing in my sorrows, and I could be having fun. So it's about me knowing, I know, like, if I get in a relationship right now, somebody gonna cheat. You gonna
Either
see
you or
somebody
him?
better than me, huh?
Either you or him?
Me or him.
Somebody.
Somebody's going to cheat, because we don't even know who we are yet. You know what I'm saying? We still trying to figure out who we are. So how can I say I want this person, or I want this in a person, if I don't even know what I want yet? Okay. So it's just more about understanding yourself.
She belongs to the streets.
Does anyone else have any question on that? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Like I said, I just got out of a long-term relationship. I was happy in it, and then growing up.
So you started at 20 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm Mexican, so my dad was 3 years younger than me when he had me. So in my mind, I was like, okay, yeah, by that age, I'll be married, probably have a kid. And then actually being here, this generation is different. Guys, I'm not looking for anything serious, because none of these men are really serious. And I feel like that age...
Is it that they're not serious, or they're not in the position to start a family and go that direction?
It's both. I mean, I wouldn't start a family like today. Like, actually being this age that I thought I would be ready for that, I know I'm not ready for that. I feel like I'm still a kid myself. And I'd be fine dating someone and growing with them. But so many of the people that I meet are not in that mindset of even growing themselves. So when I'm older, I'll get my shit together. I'll get my money right. But right now, I want to have fun. And so if that's all you want, I'm not that type. I'm here to grow myself, do better. And so I'm doing it by myself right now.
Ladies, what do you believe? Do you believe that a relationship comes first or sex comes first? We'll start off over here with Perry.
I think a relationship should come first.
Well, what does, though?
But what does, though?
A lot of times, I think in this environment, in this world, that sex comes first in a lot of situations. So you end up in a situationship first before you end up in a relationship. And a lot of times the situationship just stops and there's nothing more. And then, it's just another body at that point.
Okay.
I definitely feel like it starts with sex. It's because you don't really know if you want to be in a relationship with someone until you've had sex with them, and there's like a sexual chemistry or like compatibility. I'm not saying you should do that. You can wait, but I feel like it's just what most people do nowadays.
I think relationship.
It should be a relationship first, but that's not. Well, that's why I said we in the times and the days of where it's not realistic. Like, you meet somebody, you feeling somebody, of course, like probably the next day you talking about something, I want to come over, I want to fuck. And that's what's going to happen, because you're not going to say no.
Now, would you say that most guys, and I'll have you answer really quickly before I go next.
I think a relationship, but unfortunately sex comes first.
Okay. So the thing is that I think that comes down to, do you believe that women have the discernment to choose the right sexual partners? Because if that normally does come first for where we are right now in society, and to be honest, It is very true. You don't really know whether or not you really like someone until you actually have that sexual chemistry with them or that sexual interaction with them. You can go all the way to marriage, and you can find out on your marriage night that you don't like that person. So, and there's plenty of cases of that. But would you say that women have the discernment to choose the right partners on their own,
As far as
or with their own group of girlfriends specifically?
As far as okay, so when you're
Choosing
saying,
the right partners,
like a partner for marriage or a partner
just in general, if the relationship really is the key goal and sex is the first step, do you have the discernment to choose the proper sexual partner?
I think we're saying like sex necessarily shouldn't be the first step, right? You should want to build a relationship. I'm saying what happens is that sex.
But I'm sure you've had a situation that you've had sex first before the relationship.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can say that.
Okay.
But
so if it is possible
it's
to do that, do you think that you chose correctly back then?
I think I chose for my present status of what I was looking for. So yes, I did choose what I was looking for at the time when I was younger. Now I have a lot more discernment with my age, but with my age is
no more bad boys.
Yeah, no more bad vibes. But now it's different, right? I have to be a lot more selective now. I don't have that much time as I would have if I was in my 20s.
Okay. About yourself?
I feel like sometimes we go off of, like I said, what we think they are, and then it can be hard when you're with your friends and they're hyping you up and they're like, oh yeah, this is like a great guy or whatever, and then that gets in your head and you have this image of them like, oh, I think it's gonna be like this, and then it's not, and then you're disappointed. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess it really just depends on the person and how they take in, that person that they're trying to be with, and how they take in others' opinions around them, and that goes into like that type of discernment. Like, oh, am I gonna choose him? Am I gonna really fuck with him? I feel like that's what goes into it.
Sometimes it just takes enough liquor.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I mean, I think that they can, but not all do. I mean, plenty of people are in good relationships and it's how it's starting. Plenty of people do that, and then it doesn't go anywhere. So it could go either way.
Can you repeat the question?
Do you think that women in general right now have enough discernment to choose the right sexual partners if sex normally does come first before the relationship?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's just according to what they want and what they like. I don't think they might not necessarily make the right decision for the relationship part, but sexually they might make the right decision.
Satisfying you sexually?
Yeah.
So is that why you would say that we're stuck with a high epidemic of single mothers then? Because they have a good sense of discernment? Is that what you're saying?
Did you just read me? Yes, that's what I'm saying, I guess.
So I want to ask that one more time. So you think that the reason why we have so many single mothers is because they are good at discerning the men that they choose to recreate?
No.
Okay.
No, never mind. No.
That's okay. Your question?
Yeah, my question.
I would say that I think I have a good eye for if someone is going to be sexually compatible with me or not, just by like how they're treating me, how they are touching me, or treating me and touching me and kissing me. I feel like I can make good discernment right there. We're going to be like sexually compatible in the bed. So
yeah, certain salivas don't match up.
I have a question for the panel. Who still has like a 2-parent household? Anybody still in a 2-parent household?
I'm 26. I don't stay with my parents.
No, is your parents still married together or no? Okay. No. Okay. So historically, part of the discernment in men has been provided by the other men in your life, i.e. your fathers, brothers, uncles. And without that in your life, you're actually missing out on a lot of valuable experience from that end and telling you whether or not this dude is actually a good dude. Because honestly, I'll say it up here, y'all cannot discern men. There's a very popular quote Sergio uses. I'm not going to go into it just yet. I'm gonna save it to a good part, but that y'all do not have the discernment for that. And let me say this for the I'm gonna double back on like the short term dating strategies. as a man, my objective is to give up the least amount of resources to get the box. Short term. Your objective is to extract the most amount of resources without giving up the box. Does that make sense?
Is that a fact?
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely, especially now that most men actually really aren't getting the box. You guys know that 1 in 3 men right now, ages 18 to 30, are completely sexless.
Wow.
Yes.
I never knew that.
I did not know that.
So, if you think about it, the only gentleman that can even try to get any type of play, not only have game, not only probably have a couple of resources, but more than likely they're also pretty good looking and keep themselves in check in that way. But there are also a lot of weirdos, so that's the reason why 1 in 3 men right now are not. They have a lot of parasocial relationships with pornography online or OnlyFans girls online. So that has also tainted a lot of different things with the way that men go about pursuing women in real life. I tell men specifically all the time to really get off the dating apps. They're not serving you too well because only 4% of men are being swiped on. 4.5% of men are being completely swiped on the right side from the women.
True story. OK Cupid released the statistics. Wasn't it like a year ago or so? I believe it was.
Yep. And then
It's crazy.
men, we generally will swipe about 45 to 50% on women. Our standards aren't that high for you guys. You just need to be freaking fit, feminine, faithful, and funny.
And speaking of standards, I kind of want to segue off of something that Perry had mentioned a little while ago. She said, sex comes first, and that's what usually creates situationships. If I were to ask you, would y'all agree that women are the ones that get stuck in situationships?
Sorry, this way.
Yeah, I think women are normally the ones that feel like they're stuck in a situationship, like they feel like they want to have something that's more permanent or like a relationship, and the guy's just kind of like, no, I'm not ready, it's too pushy. So yeah, for sure.
I think what I've seen with certain friends of mine is they're trying desperately to get back that guy that like won them over to have sex in the first place. And so that keeps them there is because they keep fighting for what was there. But that guy is like, I feel like once you have sex with a guy, he doesn't see you as relationship material anymore if you're not in the relationship first. And then he doesn't want you. And the girl that he dates is going to be the one who makes him wait.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we get stuck in situationships because once we do go there, we kind of expect like, oh, he's gonna change his mind. Like, I didn't put the pussy on him, so he gonna definitely change his mind. Like, now we talking on the phone, we texting, but that still means nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
So now our feelings is put more into the situationship than than they do. So I mean.
Ladies, do you believe that women should be in competition for a non-average man?
No, I don't think women should compete with anyone ever. There's no competition. You have to think of yourself and think that there's no competition compared to you anyways. So yeah, no.
So what's realistic though? I know you say, oh, you got to think that there's no competition, but let's be real. There's always competition. So we got to be in a realistic mindset here.
How many do you think there's more women than men or more men than women?
I think there's definitely more women than men.
Okay. So if there's more women than men and the men you want is hard to find, you're going to be in competition with other women to get him.
Okay, yeah, that's for sure. Yes, that's true. But I feel like, I don't know, would I take it as far as to be actively competing against another woman to have that man's attention? I don't think so.
That's why you do what you do. That's why you go to the gym. That's why you put on makeup. That's why you take care of yourself. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're trying to seek a relationship. You don't want to just rack up a whole bunch of bodies. You eventually do want to settle down, correct? Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of other women that want to settle down. It's just an inherent competition thing. Men, we have to compete as well. We're competing in every facet of life, from work, fitness, And society on every level holds us accountable. If we're not up to par, we don't even get to talk to you. Does that make sense?
I mean, think about all the music
Yeah.
that we listen to nowadays. I don't want no scrub, right? You know, you got Beyonce. Yeah, fuck Beyonce. But I said it. Anyways, but yeah, you got all these songs that shit on men. Men have to perform. You know, we got to accept reality for what it is. We're always competing in life. Now, I did kind of want to circle back around to something that you just mentioned. You know, back to the situationship thing. You know, something that lady to Julian, you're right with the glasses. You said like a lot of girls just think like, oh, I gave him the box, like, yeah, I put the pussy on him. You know, do y'all really think that you're gonna be able to sexually satisfy a man all by yourself?
No. Because
So
there's no way.
yeah. And with that being said, going back to the situationship again, if you gave up the box, who do you think? Now the man got what he wanted, which is the sex, right? Now the women are usually ones that want the relationship. Wouldn't you say that a lot of women just get lazy and they think like, oh, going back to what you said, like, oh, I gave him the box, so I should deserve the relationship and I don't have to work and add value to this man's life to get what I want now? Which is why a lot of women get stuck in situationships. So,
I see what you're saying.
so would you say that the man did that to the woman, or do you think the women do it to themselves?
When you put it that way, I think the women do it to themselves because I see the expectations where we feel like since we did give them the pussy that we have, like, you know, we automatically, okay, cool, like, you know, we deserve the flowers, the roses, the text messages, the calls, the communications, the hangouts, the money, the dates, all that. So I feel like that, I mean, the women, I ain't trying to be like biased or anything, but yeah, I do think that.
Ladies, who controls access to sex?
Starting with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like we definitely do because you all, as a girl or as a woman, there's always going to be a guy that's willing to fuck or that wants to fuck. Your standby, so I definitely feel like we control it.
Yeah?
I agree.
Women?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if that's the case, then who controls access to relationships and marriage?
See, it's so, I feel like that takes two people because you guys have to both want to be in the relationship. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, we teach men to never seek out the relationship, to have the woman seek out the relationship, and then him create the boundaries of the relationship, which is how it should be.
Mhm.
But if that's the case, again, I'm going to ask the question, who gives access to relationships and marriage?
Women.
No.
I said men.
Men.
I said men do.
I definitely.
Last time I checked, it's the
A
man that's getting on his
proposes,
knee.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yep, we get on our knee, we go ahead and pay for the ring, we pay for the wedding, we pay for the honeymoon. We do everything to make sure that you feel like the only girl in the world. Okay, all right, so let's move on to the next question as well. Donnie, did you have something?
No, I was just going to ask if the ladies have any rebuttal or any questions about that. No? All right.
All right, ladies, what are some common mistakes you think men and women make when transitioning from short-term to long-term dating strategies?
That way.
I would say not communicating the boundaries and how we can go from short to long term instead of just getting into arguments because we never set any structure or boundaries. It's never just organized discipline. It's never mature. It's always sloppy and just one-sided and short-handed.
I think, we get too comfortable. Shit just gets too comfortable. Like, oh, we've been talking for a long time, so it already feel like a relationship. So once we get into the relationship, it's like it's nothing else to be done. Like we're just kind of just coasting with each other. We used to each other. That's how I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like if are you talking about like going from a short-term relationship with one person transitioning into long-term? I think that if you're starting out thinking short-term, you probably may not have like the same goals in mind for future. Same like, I mean, do you want kids? Do you want like a house? Do you want to live in the city, the country, whatever? You didn't have those conversations to start. So then now you like each other. Now you want to be together long-term, and your shit might not even align at all.
You said, how do you do the transition?
So, what are some common mistakes that you think men and women both make when transitioning from short-term to long-term dating strategies?
Oh, I feel like a lot of women I feel like sometimes women can put a lot of pressure on a dude. Um, and I feel like that's one of the mistakes that can make it feel like, dang, I don't know if I really want to do long term with her. And then I feel like for guys, it's just miscommunication. It could really be miscommunication on both ends. Like going back to what she was saying, like just the miscommunication, not really having a clear message of what you guys are expecting out of it, and then that can kind of mess up the transition altogether. It's like you don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Can I ask, what do you think men want in a long-term relationship?
What do I think they want? I think they want to be loved, security. I feel like they want the same things we want. Like we want to be loved, we want security, we want attention, we want someone that's there consistently, we want someone that we can have sex with, and is consistent and is safe. And I feel like that's what guys look forward to.
Security, as in like protection.
Are you gonna beat somebody
from
up
who?
for me?
I mean, like knowing that you're secure with that person, you feel safe with that person. Like this is my person, I feel safe with them. That's how I mean when I say like secure.
Okay. Let's go around the table with that because I'm really curious.
I feel like out of a long-term relationship, men want, like if they're settling down, they want someone to run their home, like to raise their children. They'll look for a woman who will do those things. Not all women do it anymore. I personally, if you're willing to pay my bills, I'm willing to cook you food.
Working together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So women are like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to take care of a man. But if you're taking care of me, I'll take care of you. It doesn't have to be the same way as long as we can agree on that beforehand.
Yeah. I feel like men want you to be like they mama. I'm not your mama. You feel me? Like, I mean, I understand like why you would want me to cook for you, but do you know how to fix a toilet?
Absolutely.
Do you know how to
that's why I said
put
take
I'll
care
put
of
the
each
snake
other.
down the toilet and clean
Or
up.
you
Yes.
can pay someone
as
to
long
do it.
as we both know what we're doing and we're like agreeing on that what we are gonna do for each other, then cool. But if you expected some shit out of me that you wouldn't even do for yourself or for me,
Okay.
I'm not doing it.
Do you know how to like? Do you know when to shut up?
Yeah.
Not in a relationship. Okay. I'm not talking about right now. I'm just talking about in general. Because you're being perfectly fine.
I feel like men want loyalty, like someone on their commitment of loyalty.
Into the mic for us too, please.
I feel like men want people on their level, a woman on his level of loyalty, like that type of commitment. To be a housewife, to be submissive, never emasculating him, make him feel safe, vulnerable, like a safe space, since men aren't allowed to, be open and have that safe space. That's really all I have.
Do y'all believe that, let's just say you have a child with a man. Do you believe that he should be there as equally as you are in, I would say, the first 7 to 10 years of the child's development?
I feel like it really depends on how the income is set up. Like if he's the one bringing in most of the bread, you can't really expect him to be as in the child's life as maybe you would be. So it really just depends on that financial dynamic. But I feel like if they both have similar jobs, if they're both bringing in the same amount of income, then it should be 50-50. Like, yeah, you can both manage to put in the same amount of time with the child.
So this is a tiny bit off topic. I was listening to a finance podcast the other day, and they were saying that your money habits are developed by 7 years old. So I know that there's plenty of other ones. Having both parents present, so I feel like is important. Maybe not same duties, but just like the presence time with them. As if you've got a son, you're teaching him how to be a man. If you have a daughter, you're teaching her how to be treated by a man.
I agree 100%. It should be equal.
No, you need to be there. You need to be there.
So this is the common confusion that I believe a lot of, especially minority families, go through, because the father's role really isn't necessary until the son specifically or the daughter specifically starts reaching the adolescent ages, teenage years. I don't think y'all understand how socially aware y'all are as women. Like, y'all's halfway development point is 11 years old. Y'all are fully developed by 21. That's actually why y'all can start conceiving by even as early as 13, 14, 15. Obviously, the laws don't allow that anymore. Certain countries may have that, but that's as early as you can start conceiving. So the father's role is just to keep them out of trouble, specifically.
What's that saying?
Keep the son out of jail.
And daughter off the stripper pole.
All right, next question. How do societal expectations influence the difference in short-term and long-term dating strategies between men and women? We'll start over here.
I think society influences short-term by meaningless hookups, no substance. I'm talking about in 2023. As far as long-term, kind of the same thing. What? Ask the question again, because I kind of didn't understand.
How do societal expectations influence the differences in short-term and long-term dating strategies between men and women?
I was just kind of telling you this the other day. They kind of expect you to look like everybody on Instagram, act like everybody on Instagram. I gotta have as much money as a rapper. I gotta have as much money as an influencer. You know what I'm saying? It's just society puts on the regular people. Well, now since they want to be like these rappers and whoever, now I gotta look like a rapper's baby mama. I gotta have the ass. I gotta have the money. I gotta be driving the Aston Martin. I gotta be in somebody's penthouse. I gotta already be built. You feel what I'm saying? But what they don't know is these people on social media are
the woman or the man.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Both. Both. I feel like both. The woman expects you to have a lot of money, and the man expects you to have the ass, the hair, the this, the that. That's what I'm saying.
Would you say that that's the least of your worries compared to finding a guy that can actually go ahead and take care of everything financially, though?
Yeah, that's the least of my worries, period.
Yeah, like just making sure that you're physically in shape and keeping it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lexi?
I think that it's very glorified to, I can get anybody I want, look at my roster, look how big it is. Those short term is glorified. Nobody is like, oh, look at my person. If you're dating, it's a secret. Like, nobody wants anybody to know when they're in a relationship. So I think that influences.
Soft launch.
Yeah.
A little soft launch.
Don't show your face. You can, maybe a hand, maybe it's just a second plate of food.
Little ankle.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's like everybody's scared of it, or they just don't want anybody to know, because then they lose half the people that they're sleeping with, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel like society has definitely normalized, like, just flings, and a lot of the TV shows, the music that we hear, it's always talking about sex, drugs, money. So that's what we're constantly seeing, and I feel like we project that in our own lives, and we see so many people on social media, and we want to live that life where we're thinking goals, like these are couple goals, this, not even knowing what goes on behind closed doors. But society just puts up this mask, and I feel like everyone's looking through it, and they're perceiving it differently, but in reality it's just all the same thing. It's just mess, because the short term's mess, the long term's mess.
Now, would you say that as far as starting a family and going that direction, I'm not even going to talk about marriage, because to be quite honest, marriage is very skewed today in 2023. I believe that people should go the children route first, and then if marriage takes place, they can go that direction if they want to. But would you say that the age specifically is different for women to start looking for having children, and then men having to look to start a family? Would you say that that's different? Which are the ages?
I do feel like it's different, because my family is always asking me, like, oh, what age do you think about having kids? And they'll say like 25, 26. I don't know. Some normal people feel like that's a good age, but I'm thinking more like 29, 30, 31, 32, like later. So I feel like for women, sometimes it can be put on us a lot earlier. And they always do say that the clock is ticking because, at a certain point, we really can't have kids like that anymore. So that's another reason that could go into that. But yeah, I do feel like it's different.
When do you think a woman enters her prime, and when do you think men enter their prime?
I feel like a woman enters her prime. Now that I'm older, I feel like I want to say like 23, 24, 25, around there, because it's like after college you've gotten some experience in life. Maybe you're just starting to build into your career, you're getting your own place, you're going to the gym, you're doing all of this stuff for yourself, and you're kind of finding yourself, and you look amazing while doing it because you're young.
Do you think you'll be more attractive when you're 30 opposed to when you're like 19 or 20?
I would hope so, because I feel like I still have the body of a 12-year-old. So I would hope so. Hold on. But, yeah, I definitely see a lot of women, they look different from, 18, 24, 30.
When do you think men enter their prime?
That's a good question, too. I feel like a lot of the men that I'll be looking at, I'll be like, oh, he look good. They be like late 20s, early 30s. And they just look so fit, like so well grown.
So men typically enter their physically, they're in their prime physically. Like some of their best shape they'll be in is between that 18 to like 25 range. But financially and mental status, they're going to enter their prime in their 30s towards like 35 or so. Women, your prime is between 18 to 24. That's when you're going to be the most attractive. You're going to be the most fertile, and you're going to have the least experience of dealing with a bunch of fucking dudes who ain't shit.
Yeah, just like I was saying earlier, just like women's halfway point is 11 years old, men's is 15, and their full development is around 30. So even around 15, 16, 17, they're not even thinking about women. We're not. We're thinking about having fun, video games, chilling with the boys, trying to figure out what the next movie is or whatever it is. Yeah. But women, on the other hand, at those ages, are thinking about boys, and they're thinking about them heavily. So that's the biggest difference right there.
Have y'all ever heard about the wall?
The who?
The wall. I'm not talking about Donald Trump's wall, but I'm talking about the wall. No. So, Julia mentioned earlier there was this thing called the Epiphany Stage. It's that after you have dealt with a whole bunch of dudes, you're about 28, 29, it suddenly clicks like, wait, what am I doing with myself? And then you cross over to that 30 range, and then your eggs have dropped off, and you have a risk of geriatric pregnancy, and your ability to attract mates goes down compared to a younger, more attractive woman, and you're scrambling against time. Yes, it is a race against time. You have a race against time to secure the best man possible that can provide for you. That's what the wall is. And a lot of women are actually running into that head first when they believe the modern way feminism and that you can wait until you're 30 to have kids. It's not a good thing. You're actually at a high risk for pregnancy when you wait past 30. Did y'all know
It's
that?
34.
34?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see?
Geriatric pregnancy.
So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that around 29 is the normal age for marriage, and that's normally when men are on their ascent and women are on their descent. Ladies, what do you believe is the average time frame for marriage these days?
I say 29.
No, I'm talking about the years.
Oh.
How long a marriage lasts?
3 times.
I took psychology. I think I know the statistics. Is it like 5 years?
Around that, 5 to 9. Average is 7. Okay, and who do you believe initiates most divorces today?
It's women.
Yeah. There you go. Why is that?
Emotions.
Yeah, emotions. Finances sometimes. Either like the man lost a job or she lost a job. It could be like domestic violence issues. It could be like cheating, infidelity. That's definitely a big one once the woman has passed her prime.
Do you believe that DV is more common in heterosexual relationships or gay and lesbian relationships?
I know the statistic on that one. So I don't know if anybody else knows it, but it's in lesbian relationships that has the highest rate.
Lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Why is that? Why do you think it would
I
make
said
sense?
the hormones earlier.
Cause two women, the
Emotions.
hormones, and then I
Emotions.
feel like they feel like it's not as bad if it's like two, like it's a cat fight. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of like how they probably look at it afterwards.
Do you believe that social media has had any type of influence on divorce today from women to men specifically, since women are initiating over 70% of the divorces, and it goes up to 90% if they're college educated?
Yeah. Once women see, like I said, society like seeing that those other couples and start comparing their relationships. Oh, her husband does this, but mine doesn't. Oh, they do this, but mine doesn't. You know, thinking the grass is greener on the other side.
Chris Brown does this, Drake does that, Lil Baby does this.
So that probably goes into why they feel like, oh yeah, it's not working, because they feel like somebody else got it better than them.
Lexi?
I think that, they feel like they can do better. They might see somebody else doing better. Or, for me, I'd rather be alone than feel alone in a relationship. And I feel like that can happen after long term. Like, I don't know, somebody was like, you're past your prime, and so they're looking somewhere else. If you're going to look somewhere else, go find something else.
I don't know. I just feel like these days women are initiating divorces because they're educated, like you said. They just not tolerating anything anymore. I mean, for the last few years, it's been women way more successful than men, so they just have their own money to where they can fend for themselves and not deal with the BS.
I would agree with her. I feel like social media definitely plays a part just because of what you see.
Ladies, and can you finish something?
Go ahead.
Ladies, do you know when y'all extremely got liberated? Like the year exactly y'all got extremely liberated?
It's like in the 60s when they did that woman's
Pretty close.
march. 70s.
Pretty close.
80s.
Any of y'all?
I don't remember.
It was around 1965
Okay.
when birth control officially entered the marketplace. Then we entered the 70s, which was the sexual revolution. Then we go into the 80s and 90s, free the nipple. No is no. Stuff like that. But do you believe that it's become, since then, because everybody remembers the white picket fence families. And I always tell people that the white picket fence family was created to sell more real estate.
Facts.
Do you believe that it's more difficult for men to provide for a family today in 2023 rather than it was for our fathers and grandfathers back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that y'all have the same qualities as a woman who like helped raise our whole society? Like say like a woman back in the 50s. Do y'all think y'all bring the same qualities to the table as a woman in the 40s or 50s would?
Nope. I think I do.
Absolutely not.
I think I do, but I think part of it is the household I grew up in, being a person of color, having a Mexican father, and just the like how I grew up. It was expected. I was taught that, and whether I will give it or not will depend on the relationship that I'm in. But I do have the qualities.
Right.
And you were raised by your father? I noticed you brought him up a couple times.
Yeah. I had a stepmom, but a lot of my the things that I value came from him.
Cool.
Ladies, do you think that, and this is like specifically for like minority culture, but do you believe that we really don't handle situations properly? Like even little bickering, or even like when it comes down to arguments or disagreements and stuff like that, like do you believe it gets heated way too quickly?
Women?
Absolutely.
Are you saying women?
No, I'm talking about like Latino and black culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't have a lot of patience these days. They don't know. They never like really practice patience in the most toughest times of their lives, so they just don't even know how to have grace, patience, when to choose not to argue, when to argue. So people just walking around with these crazy minds, like not really just thinking before they speak, and just reacting.
I feel like what you said.
Okay.
I like what you said.
So, ladies, who do you believe is more empathetic? Now, empathy means that you can relate with someone's story specifically, not necessarily sympathy. Sympathy means you just feel sorry for them. Okay? But who do you believe is more empathetic, men or women?
Women. Because I feel like men are always taught, and they just have this type of character about them that, always has to prove a point or be right or wrong. So they don't really have a lot of empathy. They're like kind of hardcore. Men are kind of just like, this is what it is. This is how it's going to be.
But because of that, do you think that they go through situations, trials, and tribulations that do help them relate with not only the average man, but it also helps them refrain from treating women a certain way too sometimes?
Possibly.
Okay, well, what if I told y'all that women are more solipsistic than empathetic? Do you know what solipsism means?
I was about to say, explain that one.
It means that you can't picture anyone else in your shoes but you. Like, you can't picture yourself in anyone else's shoes. Women normally cannot picture themselves in anyone else's shoes because they automatically believe that everyone's already in her shoes. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
I'm not saying that y'all aren't outliers. I'm saying that the average woman normally is solipsistic. They're not empathetic. They may be sympathetic. They can feel sorry for you. They may even give you some pity sex.
I think it's
But that doesn't mean...
Right.
I think it's the opposite. I think we can be more empathetic than we can be sympathetic. Because I cannot give a fuck. I don't feel. Why would I feel sorry for you if you did something? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you did something where
and that raises the question from women to men and men to women.
Yeah, I think women are way more empathetic than men. I mean, a part of being a woman is having that maternal instinct, where you always empathize and caring, being kind, being nice, being warm. That's like being a woman, like having that maternalism in them, being empathetic about things.
But if men don't reach a certain level of maturity and empathy, they normally get in trouble with the law. They normally go down the wrong path. They normally make the wrong decisions. So, something to think about when it comes down to that, in that regard. Okay, next question. Do you have anything, Ramar?
Yeah, so when it goes down to like the men accountability, the women accountability, they literally tell you Lizzo is a 10. Do you think Lizzo is a 10?
Wait. Do I think?
Yes.
She's beautiful.
Is she a 10?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're gonna be real. We're gonna make sure. To the public eye right now, to society's eye right now, that's not how, that's not a 10. But she's beautiful in her own right, is what I'm saying.
Is it healthy? Is that it? So if that was a model for how women should be these days, do you think we should follow that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that, because I used to work at Victoria's Secret, so I noticed the transition into like heavier mannequins, like them getting completely rid of their, I think, sportswear or swimwear line at one point as well. And it makes sense. Unfortunately, women are actually, I think it just came out, the average weight for the average woman is around like 160 and 170 pounds.
Yep.
That looks different on everybody.
It does.
Yeah,
It does. And people could wear it differently, but
I've weighed 160 pounds and I'm 4'11", and I wasn't fat.
like I said, for the majority of women, they can wear it differently. But you could walk around your average airport, not only women, but also men. There's a lot of people overweight right now. So in that regard, I would say, because I'm heavy into fitness, it seems as if women try to find tons of excuses to continue eating, whether it's eating out, whether it's eating junk, whether it's drinking. In fact, women are actually out drinking men as well right now in 2023. So that's another thing. But again, there's a lot of excuses that go on to it. I could give someone the easiest fitness advice. Stop eating so damn much. It's very simple. Average person is eating over 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day. A day. And what if I told you you don't need that to survive? I used to be 240 pounds overweight myself. I am now under 10% body fat, all natural, no drugs. So just going to keep it at that.
Hey, I want to follow up on something before we transition to the next question. So I know a little while ago, Sergio, you were asking who basically, like, whenever there's arguments that's happening and who's short tempered, you know, and I believe all of y'all actually agreed that women are usually short tempered. Going back to the question of, things that a man would want long term, I heard loyalty, but in the same breath, there has to be respect. Would you say that a woman that argues, that's willing to argue with her man and try to push those buttons on her man, would you say that she respects him?
No.
So, does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, why do you settle for a man that you would be willing to not respect? Is it more because of the fact that you can still gain resources from him?
Start our way.
And we can do in general terms,
don't
not
really
you as
have
an
any-
individual, but
Oh,
in general terms.
I don't even know how to speak first. I've never been in that situation. I would say, just like speaking from social media, probably a lot of women are doing that these days for like resources, income that they need, help with the kid, just things like that. That could be the only reason, or just codependency.
They're lining up 4 dates to get food
Yeah.
every week.
Codependence, yeah.
Oh, so y'all saying a man that gets cussed out is obviously not respected by his woman.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't think that's necessarily true because I can cuss a nigga out all day, but that don't mean I don't respect you. That just means that you probably doing something to piss me off.
So, would you say that he doesn't have boundaries then if he allows that?
Yeah, we both don't have boundaries at that point. At that point, we both don't have boundaries because we both don't know how to not piss each other off. You feel me? Like, I wouldn't say we just don't respect each other. I just feel like
You don't respect him because he's unable to control his emotion. You're allowed to be emotional and deal in your emotions. We're not allowed to deal in our emotions. When you see a man go down onto your level and argue with you, it turns you off. Am I right?
Facts.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be the foundation. He's supposed to be the rock that your
Yeah.
waves crash upon.
Right.
Mhm.
What matters more to men and women? What matters more to women, love or respect?
respect.
I feel like if you love me, you would respect me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Lexi?
No, I agree with that, but I feel like at the end of the day, women will accept love over respect. And that's why DV happens. That's why cheating happens, because they get that love bombing and they'll stay and wait for it.
I'll say respect over love.
Respect. Because you can still love somebody and cheat on them and do all of
If you respecting
but if you
me,
respect me,
you care about how you treat me. That's
So-
respect.
Bree has brought up cheating a couple times. Now I'm gonna be honest with
So
let's talk about this because do y'all believe that cheating is the same when it comes down to men and women?
like women and men cheat at
Like
the same
when a woman
rate,
cheats
or-
on a man, is it the same? Are the same reasons for why a man will cheat on a woman?
No, I don't think it's the same. I think when women cheat, it's more emotional, and when men cheat, it's like it's not really. A man can cheat for no reason, just because he wants to fuck somebody else. He
I need
wants
to
to feel
take a
something
piss.
else.
Like I'm cheating.
Oh, I was gonna move out the way. But yeah, so I definitely think it's different. Like, yeah.
Lexi.
I said it on the last episode that I was on is, I think that women will cheat emotionally first, and for men, a lot of times it is physical. Starts physical.
I agree. Physical, men, women, emotional.
I feel like we have a bigger impact. Like when we cheat, it's more of a bigger impact. Like it's like, oh, she cheated. Like that bitch sneaky. Like she was thinking about it. She didn't say nothing. We get off more with it more because we know how to maneuver with it.
It's a lot more work for a woman to cheat.
Yeah.
Who has more positive reinforcement by their peers with cheating, men or women?
Men.
Men for sure.
What? Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Who's telling y'all, hey, we're on this girl trip, girl. Hey, I got a guy over here.
Not my
Hey,
friends.
we're in a hotel room. Come over here. What?
No, because
Who do you think gives better advice to people in a relationship? Single women to a woman in a relationship, or a single man to a man in a relationship?
single woman. Because men are instigators, and I feel like men, who they put themselves around, that's who they are. I feel like they try to put that stigma on us, but I feel like that be y'all. Like y'all be, you go to a club, it's the dude, one out of the 10 friends that's there that's probably gonna be like, hey, chill, like, cause you got a wife at home. None of y'all are gonna, you know what I'm saying, have enough sense to not do it. Like y'all don't care about being outside and having a girl at home. Y'all don't even care about bringing her with y'all. Y'all don't care about letting her know. It's just, it is what it is.
So you mentioned how you were talking about cheating in that regard, and Perry, before she left, she brought up there's a tax bracket to cheating. Is that true for a woman? If a man cheats on you, he can cheat on you as long as he makes a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
No, I'm not young Miami.
I don't think that's not towards me. Not toward. I don't think that.
I remember specifically what you said. You said that you're unable to sexually satisfy men alone.
Yeah.
So how many good dudes have you just let go because he cheated because he needed sexual access? But he was actually a good dude overall.
Or maybe he earned that sexual access.
Probably a lot.
So maybe cheating shouldn't be that much of a big deal if you understand that you're not able to provide that for him, what he needs, but he's providing everything else for you.
I don't feel like, I wasn't saying me personally. I was saying any female. Like that's the observation that I've made personally. Like I think that a lot of dudes, they can't just be with one female because they just want to do whatever they want to do. It's not me. I just feel like I can't nobody satisfy.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, let's just say the man stood faithful, but the girl went ahead and even cheated emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
There's still no accountability in that from her peer groups, even her own mother, maybe even her mother-in-law. They're all pointing at, well, what did he do wrong? What did he do? So who has more positive reinforcement for their behaviors?
I mean, I still feel like it's men because on social media and everything.
With the men, we're just making sure, like, yo, bro, go ahead, bro. You don't get these options very often.
I mean, but I feel like that still shouldn't be excused. Like, men are always told, like, yeah, fuck as many girls as you can. It's okay. It's cool. Like, you get cool points for doing this. No one's giving a girl cool points because she cheated on her dude. Yeah, if anything, I feel like the girl is more
precisely.
hurt.
You don't get cool points for that, but men do. They get their value raises, yours decreases.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, I don't know. I still feel like it's more positive reinforcement on the dude because everyone around him is going to be like, oh, yeah, you got that. Like, you're the man. But the girl does it. Oh, she's a slut. She's a hoe.
Keep your legs
closed. Fuck her. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like
like so men. It's definitely more positive reinforcement for men.
I feel like it's men. Even men are like, for example, like, let's go have a threesome with this girl, or you guys are always like sending another DM, like checking out, like sending a picture of Kylie Jenner to your homeboy, like, look at Kylie today, or like, oh, okay, she's 10, she's thick, or even taking it so far to want to have a threesome with your homeboy, like.
Is it easier?
Man, I thought you were talking about the other type of threesome.
Yeah, I did too. Like, I was like,
hold on,
shit, that shit is.
Hey. Nigga, you gay.
Hey, hold on. Is it easier for men to get sex or women to get sex?
I think women.
So that's why there's a difference in cheating between men and women. You could literally go outside, pop that leg open, and somebody come skip a rock into that pussy, and it's a go. Whereas we literally got to go fucking talk to. So in the pickup artistry world, if a man talked to 100 women and he was able to actually score on 10 of them, that's considered very high percentage rates for dudes. Mm-hmm. And that's just 10 out of 100. Now, you could go talk to that same amount of dudes, and I'm pretty sure you can get more than 10, whereas we're actually going to have to possibly talk to potentially 300, 400, 500, even 1,000 women to even get close to the same results as you would in the sexual marketplace.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's...
Yeah, ladies, I mean, again, we mentioned that only 4.5 guys get swiped on. Like, let's be honest,
Mhm.
you don't really know a guy's financial status on dating apps or anything like that. But I would say even the good looking men, their DMs aren't as filled as y'all's.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Like the straight up truth. Like I mean, I would consider us very high. Like again, not average men.
So do you feel like, oh, this is a question I have for y'all. So do you feel like because it's harder for men to sleep with women, they should be excused for cheating when they get the opportunity to cheat? Because it's
I
just
don't
so
believe
rare
that a
they
man
get
should
it?
embarrass his woman.
Not at all.
If you are gonna do something like that, do it outside of the city that she lives in. Don't embarrass her. And also be honest about that type of stuff up front when you set the boundaries of the relationship. Again, this is another thing about setting boundaries in a relationship. This is why men should not go for the relationship. They should not be saying, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? No. It's the other way around. Wait for her to ask you, and then you set the frame, you set the boundaries. If she's okay with that, and you let her know, hey, I'm not really monogamous. I have other options right now. There are other girls right now that I'm talking to and sleeping with. And if she's okay with that, so be it. The day that she decides she's not okay with it, you can leave.
And it also goes back to anything that's easy isn't as respected as something that's hard. Let's say, for example, you have two dudes. They're both exactly the same, but one of them's a trust fund baby, and the other one's a self-made millionaire. I'm probably going to have a little bit more respect for the self-made millionaire because I know he had to go and provide value and create that value, opposed to the trust fund baby who is more than likely going to blow the bag and trick off. That's my interpretation of that.
Yeah, if you're a man that hasn't built his wealth, you're gonna take it for granted, and you're also just looked at as a target. Women, that's why the term gold diggers, even though necessarily that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's not bad that women look for financial security in men. It isn't. But if you are the guy that just leads with his wallet, don't be surprised if you get taken advantage of. As simple as that.
So I do have a follow-up question for the lady at the far left of the table to Ramar. Earlier you had mentioned, shit, my mind just went blank. Shit. Damn. My mind just went blank. Never mind. Just
You're
keep
good,
the show
brother.
rolling. I'll remember.
You're good.
I'll remember.
Okay, so how do you think men and women balance their desires for short-term and long-term relationships when dating? How do their strategies diverge in this regard? You start over here.
I'm sorry, that cute. I was just still
No worries.
processing the question.
Okay. Was it the number? Oh, yeah. So how do you think men and women balance their desires for short-term and long-term relationships when dating? How do their strategies diverge in this regard?
Strategies for short term. Let's start
How do
over
they
here.
balance their desires specifically? Like what you want in a short-term or a long-term relationship. How do you balance that?
I would say by communicating, starting from jump, I'm very big on communicating. I probably said like 3 times tonight. Yeah, just communicating from the start what you want long term, what you want short term, and then if you don't, then we just go from there.
Okay, let me try to understand the question better. So, are you saying because I've been trying to understand it like she has?
How do you balance your desires? What is it that you specifically, what you're specifically seeking in a long-term or a short-term relationship? How do you balance that?
Oh,
The answer.
okay. I feel like, like just what she said, communicating with the person, like, okay, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want to do you like this, can you go with this, and then getting that feedback, seeing where his head is at and like what he feels about it, if he can input anything on how he feels like it can help the short-term or long-term relationship, and then just going from there. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Lexi, do you have anything?
Not necessarily. I do have a question for you guys. Because y'all are mentors, whatever, right? do y'all think that people just like you meet someone and be in a relationship, or do you think you should get to know them for a long time before that? Because I feel like that kind of makes a difference in the question.
I believe in genuine desire.
Mhm.
I believe that it shouldn't take more than 3 meetups with each other to get sex, to get to that sexual intercourse with each other.
How long
And
should
if
it take
it
for
and
them
if
to
it
find a
takes longer
relationship?
than that, the girl is not into the guy. She's
But
not.
the relationship though, how long does it take for a man to be able to discern the relationship?
The relationship, I think it's a lot sooner than most would actually think, because as long as you are providing value in his life and you're providing more value than any other girls that he may be seeing at the time, and value can be different. Maybe he's like us and he may need some help with editing, or he may need some help with AI or whatever it is. And this is really cool because we actually provide these types of skill sets to women in our mentorship program, so that you can be an asset to the man that you want to really be with specifically. So it's just about having the proper values and proper um, just being able to go ahead and provide value where it's necessary, making his life easier, not harder. Okay. When you're with a top echelon man, he is going to be desired by many women. You are going to have to be acceptant of that. It is what it is. But that's what's cool about being married as well, because you won, you got the ring. Everyone else is just a hoe.
They ain't looking, I don't want them.
So you can't look at the menu and not buy none?
No, I'm saying if ain't nobody else looking at them, I don't want them.
Precisely.
Oh, that's very true.
No
yeah,
woman wants a woman. No woman wants a man that no other woman wants.
Boom.
That's simple. Okay, now question, ladies. This is a good one. Have you ever been with a man that is so high value to you that you are willing to take your Instagram down for him completely?
No.
Without him asking, without him even probing it, you just say, I'm willing to go ahead and take my Instagram down to show you that I am completely committed to you and only you, no one else.
I mean, if you were to ask me something like that, and I probably consider it, I wouldn't just shrug it off. I would consider it where we are in our relationship, whatever that may be, like platonic or romantic. It just depends. I wouldn't just shrug it off. I would think about it, but ideally, I wouldn't want to change for anyone. If you can't accept me for who I am, then I'm not for you.
I won't say that I would delete it. I would say that I would get so lost into the relationship. Like I'm having such a good time and I'm so connected and I'm so there and present with the person I'm in a relationship with, that it makes me back off of Instagram. Like I'm not even noticing that I'm not even on it. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not tapped into that right now. I'm tapped into me and you. So I won't say I'm gonna delete it, like really delete it, but I'm gonna say that, you know what I'm saying, I might slowly get off of it.
That I agree with, because like I used to take pictures and stuff and post. I mean,
What
nothing
kind
crazy.
of pictures?
I mean, y'all have all seen my Instagram. It's like a high schooler, like nothing crazy. But yeah, when I was in the long-term relationship, I noticed that I didn't do that anymore. And because like when I did, you know, people swipe up on more Snapchat for me than Instagram. But like I stopped posting all that stuff because I didn't want those people messaging me anymore. I was in a relationship, respected it, and I didn't even have to think twice about it. It just happened because I respected him.
Was your question, if you have a high value man, will you delete your
Have
Instagram?
you ever been with a man like that makes you feel as if you want to go ahead and take your Instagram down?
Oh, no, I've never been with a man like that.
Okay.
Ever.
So if he walked in this room right now, he's 6 foot, 6 figures, 6-pack abs, whatever your stats are, would you?
I mean, I feel like, kind of like what Bree was saying, I feel like I would just get so lost in being with him that I really wouldn't be on it. So I wouldn't even think to delete it because I'm not even getting on the app. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't feel like, oh, I need to delete Instagram to just focus on you because I'm already focused on you. Like, we really locked in.
Do you know that Instagram is the largest dating app right now in the world?
I had no idea.
It definitely is.
Now check this out, ladies.
I would consider it.
So now that Ramar had pretty much let everyone know, like, it is the largest dating app. In the dating world, we say that men are salesmen and women are advertisers. Now, as salesmen, we go up and we pitch. We sell ourselves to women on why we're a great option. And we stop doing that when we enter a relationship normally, unless or else we're labeled cheaters. But women are encouraged to continue advertising themselves on social media, clubs, girls' trips, especially if you have plenty of bikini photos, out there. Okay? So if you think about that, cheating from the man's end is more likely like concern trolling. Because normally we stop selling ourselves. And if we do, we really just trying to say that we're still sharp. Do we still got it in us? Do we still got it? Because if you don't, you normally are on the other side of the end. You're probably dwindling down. Because, ladies, would you agree that the traits that attracted you to the man that you're attracted to, do you agree that he has to continue those traits? Or does he just stop right then and there whenever you get with him?
Continue them traits.
Yeah, you should continue those traits.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Are we still on
But-
the Instagram thing?
Yes, we are. Because women...
I just feel like with that, I mean, like for me, the person that I am, okay, yeah. Before I met you, I probably was heavily on Instagram, posting pictures, couple in and out. But if I start to be serious with someone and you come to me about that, of course I would skew down my posts. But generally, I would just think that I don't even need to be on here anymore if I'm getting attention from you, or I would post in moderation. But your post should always be in moderation anyway. So it's just like, that's why I said I would consider that.
But I just want to know, why does it matter?
Because some women can just be out of hand on social media.
Well, do you know what your DMs look like?
Okay, but that don't mean but no, listen, y'all said advertising, that's what's getting me. Just because I'm posting on Instagram doesn't mean I'm selling myself to people to come.
You are, though.
But I'm not.
You may not feel like you're directly doing that, but you're indirectly doing it.
It's not so look, I don't know.
Oh, well, how
It's not your intention. That's like from
if
an
it's
Apple's
not your
point of view, a man's
intention,
point of view.
why are you doing it? So this is one of those things that I've had arguments with girls about. Like, if you don't want the attention, why are you doing it? So, like, if I take a really good picture, I want somebody to see it, I'll send it to my girls group chat. Like, I don't need the validation of it.
Of other men who are the ones that are looking at it. You're putting a for sale sign on yourself when you're posting things like that. Honestly, like, I bought the
even
car.
If it's deeply internal, it's a validation for you. I mean, I've done it.
I bought the car. The car's in my driveway. It's the title's in my name, but you're on Instagram doing this, and it's for sale to the highest bidder who has a bigger bag than me.
I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of insecure. Like, for you to be clocking my post and what I'm posting, and it doesn't even matter. Like, as long as I'm being respectful, if we're in a relationship, as long as I'm being respectful and I'm not posting them.
Is it insecure or is it territorial?
It's insecure. Very much.
Yeah.
There's many men that are very secure in who they are.
I'm talking about what I'm doing.
So
if we talking about
It does depend on the content specifically, and insecurity versus respect, and the middle ground.
right.
This is why I said that respect and love are different for men and women, because that's showing the man that you don't necessarily respect him enough.
For me to delete my Instagram because you feel insecure about it.
You may not even have. He may not even want you to delete it. Maybe he wants you to put it on private. Maybe he wants you to take off your message requests.
I don't know. I ain't never been asked that. And if I ever was, I just feel like that's just like, it's insecure. What are you asking me that for?
I got you.
And yeah, back to the advertising part. So like, dang, if I post a picture of my grandma, what am I advertising? Like
That's different than bikini
That's not.
photos.
Yeah, that's not majority of
oh,
most
that's
people.
what I'm saying. Like, what
Hey.
y'all
Hey.
use?
Hey.
Like,
It
Like-
depends on the content. Is it a selfie of you and like your dog, or like you in a bikini on a boat?
Right.
Okay.
That's the
I don't
difference.
have no pictures in bikinis
I
on my
don't either.
page. Yeah.
So
I-
let's not take what's being said, the message, so personally. Think about most of the women on Instagram. Come on now, let's be real. Do you think they sexualize themselves in their pictures?
Nowadays,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's why I said it's some women are going crazy, and you have women like me in moderation. I don't have pictures like that.
Yeah.
So I got two things that I wanted to point out. First, I want to talk about the whole insecurity thing. I hear that often. It's like a shaming language.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman that's posting yourself online like that, would you say that you're the insecure one? because you're looking for validation, obviously, versus a guy that's, if you're completely secure, wouldn't you think like, oh, I don't need to fucking put myself out there because I know who I am. I'm that bitch, right? As you like to think. So who are you posting the pictures for then?
Me. That's what I'm saying.
Put 'em
me.
on
I'm
your
doing
wall.
it
For
me.
your validation.
Put them on your wall.
I get what y'all trying to. I know what y'all trying to do. I'm not doing it. I know I'm posting the pictures for me.
Gotcha.
I'm a bad bitch. I'm posting it because I know I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah. So going back to something that, and this reminds me of exactly what I was going to talk about. What my question was going to be earlier. You know, whenever it comes to cheating, and I know that you mentioned earlier, women cheat. They think about it. It's premeditated. It happens before, before you put yourself in a situation that you know you should not be in. Would you consider yourself posting pictures on Instagram as a way to show that the door is cracked open? This could be for the ladies. And what I mean by the door is cracked open, like, hey, this door is open. Anybody want to knock on it? Feel free.
No, I feel like if I post a picture and I'm trying to get the message across like I'm single, I'm gonna put a little song on that picture like, oh, I'm single, Lil Wayne, I'm single or something, and be direct.
Let's talk about
with
most
it.
women, though. Let's talk about most women, actually, in general.
For most women, I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
Here's the thing. Y'all are more covert in your intentions. On Instagram, you're probably going to like one or two pictures. And then if he responds back, that was your shot. Or in person, you're gonna look, bat your eyes, and then look away. Whereas as a man, we are more overt in our intentions. We are gonna come up to you and be, hey, how are you doing? What's your name? Or on Instagram, we're going to DM you. It's the little small subtle things that we're gonna see, and that means you're available to us, regardless if you're in a relationship or not. Which I'm not saying men go target women that are specifically in relationships. So the main thing is perception is key. You say for example, your Instagram is full of a bunch of pictures of you traveling. You traveled here, there. You're on a boat here, there. But you're a millionaire woman. You pay for all those trips yourself. A man's gonna see that and be like, damn, another dude paid for that shit. Why? What am I doing here? So the point is, it's not okay to assume that, oh yeah, she's a hoe. But what you're being perceived as and what you put out there, that's the key to everything. Even if you did pay for those trips yourself. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah,
It's about perception and knowing how men think, because that's, I mean, again, something my dad taught me. Whatever you think men think, you're wrong on both.
Yeah, definitely perspective.
So I got a one follow-up question too. So a little while ago, we were just talking about who do we think is more empathetic, men or women? All of y'all actually said women. But yet, do you think you're empathetic to even hearing about a guy's point of view? Or are you still looking at things based off of you walking in your own shoes? And the question may be a little
Normally it's
rhetorical.
called mansplaining.
I'm just going based off women and women's nature. That's what I know. So I would say that I am more empathetic.
Nurturing and empathy are two different things.
Nurturing, being maternal, all of that is kind of the same. Being empathetic. The sympathy would be different, I think.
Well, the empathy would have came in for Shorty over here whenever we expressly stated we don't want our women on Instagram going crazy, and then we got told insecure about it. If you were empathetic, you would have understood that, hey, that's just a man's preference. When a woman states her preference, oh, I want a dude that's 6 foot, I want this, I want that, he has to have a big dick, he has to do all of this, is you go, girl, yes, queen, slay. When a man says, we just want you to be fit, feminine, faithful, and funny, you're a fucking misogynist. It doesn't make any sense.
I think that goes, like, if we're staying on the Instagram, if you don't want me to post those pictures, you shouldn't be following women that do.
I agree.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's another one too.
That's my biggest thing.
Most definitely.
Yeah, guys that do that shit, we don't condone that shit because that's basically simping. You know, especially let alone liking pics like that and shit like that. So,
do y'all know what simping is? What is a simp? Starting this way.
A simp, I feel like, looking at a guy's perspective, they always make guys feel like simps when, like, like they do stuff for their girl, or like let's say their girl calls and they're like, "Oh, bro, I gotta get off the game." They'd be like, "Oh, you a simp? Like, you're really gonna let her just make you get off the game like that?" Or sometimes like men, whenever they're talking to like another man or like a younger child, and he's doing something that might not be in the most masculine way, they might be like, "Oh, you a simp." So I heard it like a lot of different ways.
Anybody else have an answer to what
I
is a
believe
simp?
it's just going outside. Just going out. You just going outside.
I feel like what it actually is and what people call each other as it is not the same thing. I feel like what it actually is doing everything for a woman who's like not going to do anything back for you.
Boom. An unequal exchange of value. If I'm liking your pictures, you're not liking my shit back, that's simping. If I'm paying for everything, I'm not getting no box, I'm simping for you. It's an unequal exchange of value where you're not reciprocating anything on the end for the man, and he's giving you all his resources, time. Yeah.
Now, who does it benefit more? Does it benefit women simping to men, or does it benefit men simping to women?
It's more beneficial when the man is, because we're getting their resources.
I'm going to say that one more time. Is it more beneficial for the woman to simp for her man, or for the man to simp for his women?
It's more beneficial for us when they're simping over us.
I think in a relationship, though, if you're simping, so like for me, doing that, but I mean, in a relationship, I wouldn't call it simping. That's just taken care of, right?
Yeah.
But in the terms we're using, it would be me doing the most, right? Let me cook you food. Let me give you a massage. You had a long day. Let me bring you lunch because you forgot to whatever. That's gonna do more than what he's gonna do for me.
Would you consider that keeping your man?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why you always looking at
would
me?
you consider those traits keeping your man? Do y'all even believe that y'all should take the actions necessary on a daily basis to keep your man when you get him?
Yes. Why are you looking at me like you don't believe me?
Because our little conversation previously said otherwise.
No, because I was talking about me personally.
Okay.
That was me personally.
We can tell.
Personally. I don't know. I just don't play like that. It's certain stuff I just don't play like that.
How about yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think that? So then simping would be, from your end to your man's, would be probably beneficial, right? Making sure that he really feels respected. Making sure that you're giving him the admiration, the affection. I can guarantee you, y'all ladies, like, when y'all do that, especially if it's the right man, he can give you the world in return. It's a straight up truth.
I don't think so.
Not these.
I said if it's the right man.
Yeah, and you're still
I said if it's
getting
the right
value.
man.
You're still
Okay.
getting value from the man.
Yeah, and you said you don't think so, but if you go back to one of Julian's questions earlier, have you ever had a man that you're willing to actually delete your Instagram for, or a high value man in general? All of y'all said no. So of course you're gonna say I don't think so.
If depending on the relation, I didn't say no.
No, I'm not
No,
saying you
he
in general.
said,
I was
have
talking.
you had?
You talking about me?
None of us have.
No.
Like
Realistically, I don't think in today's time, no.
If I could get to that level with a guy, I would consider that and probably do it. But I'm not even getting to that level.
What is your longest relationship, ladies?
Mine's almost 3 years.
Are you still in it?
No, we broke up.
Okay.
Mine, we broke up after the 3-year mark too.
Damn, y'all about to start crying. Shit.
Mine,
Right.
I don't even count.
You don't count it? What was it, like a little 1 month?
No, it wasn't a
Yeah,
month.
it's
It was
never too much
like
fun.
2 years. We was in a real relationship, but I just don't feel like I don't count it
Why is that?
because I feel like I haven't loved to the full capacity that I think I can love.
That's valid. I agree with that.
Okay. How about yourself?
4 years.
4 years. Okay, and now let me ask. What did you do wrong? What did he do wrong? And I want you to start off with what you did wrong.
Y'all are a trip.
Wow, this is recent, so it's fresh on my head. But I guess what I did wrong at first was, like I said before, you never want to pressure someone into being in a relationship. And when we had first got together, I felt like since we were already fucking and we were already doing all these things, like we were in a relationship, like it's time to be in a relationship. What are we waiting on? And so I feel like I kind of pressure him. And then once we were in the relationship, it was kind of rocky, and then we broke up. And then he came back. And once he came back, I thought we were good and things were going to go smooth. And then he cheated. And that's why we broke up. So that was my wrong, and then that was his wrong.
And you stood faithful the entire time?
Yeah.
Even when you guys had the little break?
See, we were broken up, so we're not together. There is no loyalty.
Did he do anything while in that break?
He said no, but considering I know now that he's a liar, I wouldn't believe that.
So, what you listed was your lack of discernment in men is what you did wrong. No, we're asking like, what is there something you were actually? Did you nag him too much? Did you do this? I wouldn't say, yeah, I picked the wrong dude. That's why I was wrong, and then he cheated.
Yeah.
What is something you actually did wrong?
I can't. Honestly, I feel like when we first got together, he had went through my phone. He found out some stuff about my past that I just didn't want him to know. And I feel like from that point, he had a different outlook on me. And then from that point forward, that's what really ruined the relationship.
So
like
your
his outlook on me was
past,
different.
your past is the reason why your relationship didn't work.
I feel like
that was your fault. Okay.
I guess so. Shit.
We might need to get back on that.
Okay. Lexi?
I would say mine was communication on my part, but I feel like I would kind of beg to be a priority, and then when I wasn't, I would kind of shut down on him, and so then he'd be like, "What's wrong?" And I just really like didn't want to talk anymore. I felt like he didn't.
What was he busy with aside from you?
His friends.
Okay.
It was his friends. So I mean, like a big example that I would tell him, and he would get mad at me about is if me and him were talking on the phone, and when his friends call, it's "Oh, let me call you back. This so and so is calling me." If he was on the phone with one of them and I called him, he'd call me back later and be like, "Sorry, I was on the phone with so and so." And so things like that, where I felt like back burner after all the things I was doing for him, just based off of how I am, I would just kind of stop.
Was that the same for in person, or was that just over the phone?
It was in person too.
Okay, so you just felt like he wasn't giving you enough time and attention.
Yeah. And so then I would kind of isolate from him and like, I don't need you anyways. I'm okay by myself. And so
you just give him the attitude in return.
Not even attitude, not like in a mean way. I just like wasn't as
like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, more like that, and not like fuck you. I don't give a fuck. Just like, okay,
Leave
if
me
you're
alone.
gonna do you, I'll do me. And he didn't like that.
How about you, ladies?
Still trying to figure out what I did wrong. I might be a narcissist. I'm just playing. No.
Well, you're the psychologist. Can you point out that if she's a narcissist or not?
If she's a narcissist?
Yeah.
She's not.
Oh, okay. Are you defending her?
Or are you gonna ask her then question her?
Ladies, social media in general is narcissism for everyone, men and women.
There you go with social media. Anyway, I don't think I did anything wrong, but I do think that I do provide a fantasy. Like, I can hold a conversation. No, dead ass serious. I swear to God, everybody that I have like a counselor with or situationships with, they all tell me the same thing. I damn near provide a fantasy. Boom. I can hold a conversation. I can talk to you all day. We can text all day. And they don't normally do this with everybody. But with me, it's just like I give like cool at the same, like I'm so cool, and I give like sex, great. When we talk, great. Just perfect. But then.
So would you say it's probably your mouth?
Probably.
Damn, that first question I asked really came through just now.
Probably.
Okay.
Probably my mouth.
And what did he do wrong? Cheated?
Mm-hmm. But it don't gotta be because of my mouth. Because I said something to you.
It can.
It can be.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely can.
We don't need the craziest reason.
Yeah, because if a feminine woman is showing that she's available and willing to actually do the things, such as treat them with respect, which is probably one of the number one things that a man wants, trust me, it ain't going to take that long for him to go fuck her.
Now, were y'all doing like makeup sex and shit? Like whenever y'all will get in arguments and stuff?
Yeah, I'm like toxic.
Okay.
I like that toxic dynamic.
So eventually the toxicity just ran out.
Yeah. She wants to be on her toes. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. She don't want that boring shit. She wants to be consistently inconsistent with her. That's what it is.
I got a follow-up question though. If the sex is so good, why did he leave?
Why he leave?
Yeah.
Oh, because like y'all said, my mouth.
But so the sex can't hold him, basically.
No.
Okay.
The dick can't hold me if you out here talking to me crazy too. So I mean,
And he was returning the energy.
Mhm.
He would return the energy that you would give him.
I didn't give the energy first. See, that's what he did it to me first, and then that's when I started. You know what I'm saying? But he taught later on. I feel like he taught me things though. Like,
So when did this like start becoming like aware to you? Like, you know, where you're like, man, this guy's not really like really emotionally stable.
when he wasn't listening to me. Like, and I think that's why my mouth's so crazy, because I feel like in order for
He would
you
just
to hear
talk to
me-
respond.
Yeah. In order for me to hear me, I gotta say some crazy shit to you. Like, I got to get out of character for you to understand that I'm not fucking playing. Like,
What
are
did he
you
need
listening?
to understand besides not fucking other bitches?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that
Why
was
don't
it.
you understand that?
So that was.
Oh,
what
and
you,
communication. Like, I'm one of those type of people. Like, it was like you said. Like, dudes around that age basically want to play the game all day. Want to forget about texting. Want to forget about. And then every time we get on the phone, it's like we couldn't go 1 week without arguing. I mean, I remember I used to count. We cannot go 1 week without an argument. And it was only because it was just certain shit. Like, why can't you, as a woman, or a female, why can't you understand that there are certain things that I need, just like there's certain things that you need? If I'm saying...
So would you say it's just a lack of boundaries that were set in the beginning?
Perfect, yeah. Yeah.
How about yourself?
I would say my last relationship, looking back at it now, definitely was immature. I was immature. And I'd probably say he was immature too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give us some examples.
For sure. I'll start with me. I would just do petty things that I would not do today at all. Like, I would remove him from my Instagram after a big fight, or block him, or leave and go stay with my friend after a big fight. Just really like stuff that probably ended the relationship, because I just excavated the whole thing every single time we had about excavated it. Like, every single time.
Over exaggerative.
Yes. So I feel like definitely immature back in the day. Him, the same thing. He didn't excavate situations, but he kind of didn't know how to deal with me back then, as far as like my personality and me. He would probably now, because he's older, just like I wouldn't do some of the things because I'm older now. But yeah, we both were immature. It was kind of like a immature relationship.
Well, how much older was he than you?
He was a year older than me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all know what a pick-me is?
Yeah.
Start this way. What's a pick-me? And is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I feel like it's a bad thing. A pick me, yeah, I feel like that's a bad thing because
Because what?
It's ingenuine. Like you're working so hard to look good for what you think they want, that you're not actually being yourself.
Oh, is it like if you're posting that you have these traits and that you're a wifeable material, that it's a bad thing, or you're actually just living that life of actually wanting to be a wife?
I don't think that either of those things are pick me. I think that people are different, and some people are genuinely that way, and some people aren't.
Okay. What about you? Is a pick me a good thing or a bad thing?
I feel like it's a bad thing, and I feel like it's usually a female trying to so basically, if me and her agreed on something and she decided to be like on y'all's side about something, clearly it's like it's a female driven thing, right? And you guys were having a conversation, as a debate or whatever, and she decides to take the men's side. It's like, you being a pick me.
But what if
like,
we're
you
right?
know, huh?
What if we're right?
No, but y'all clearly, what I'm saying is, if y'all were wrong,
And she still
picked, she trying to be down with the get down. She trying to be a pick me because she needs somebody to, you know what I'm saying? She wants somebody to be like, oh yeah, she's the one. But versus me and her, where we gonna speak out regardless if however y'all feel or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
So you'd rather just argue in bad faith?
no, I wouldn't rather argue. I'd just rather be honest.
What about you?
I'll be like diplomatic about that topic just because it's like so popular these days. I mean, if you want to be a pick me, that's good. Maybe you want to be, standing out, trying to get that fairy tale ending from a guy. And then on the other side, it's like, okay, well, maybe I can just be opposing and be a feminist and be single and independent my whole life. So, I mean, either way.
So,
But I don't discredit, a woman that wants to be a pick me.
so we had that earlier conversation about who controls access to sex, who controls access to relationships, and at the end of the day, all women should generally be a pick me. You want to be picked. You got to be picked. If you want that guy has to pick you. Does that make sense? Now, if a woman if she's a undercover hoe, and then she's on IG saying I cook, I clean, I do all this other shit, but in all actuality she doesn't, she just fucking lying. But in general, a pick me should be a good thing because you have those traits that men desire. If that makes sense.
Ladies, do y'all believe that women have good examples to look up to right now of other women in society right now?
Do we have a good what?
Do you have good examples?
Absolutely not. We do not.
No, because I mean, even just trying to think of one, like there's none that come to my head. It's like that's what I want to be.
Other than my mom, no.
That's a good one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, we got Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Beyonce is definitely the biggest hypocrite because she made Irreplaceable and she didn't replace Jay-Z at
I
all.
know. That was just about to say that.
So that's definitely a hypocrite move. That's every feminist's favorite musician right there. But regardless, would you say that men also have strong masculine figures to look up to as well?
No.
I think so, yes.
Barack Obama.
Who would that be?
The sport guys, like, just like.
You talking about dudes that play football and basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys not see what happened to Zion Williams?
Wait, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
I'm
what
not.
is she
I'm
talking
not
about?
talking about him, but like
Well,
other
majority are in that same realm, in
like
that same
focus-
bracket.
Right.
Focus men, men, family guys. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Of
name
course
one
not,
They
specifically.
all cheat on their wives.
Who are
I
you
mean,
talking
I
about?
don't know if they cheat
Name
on their
one, though.
wives.
No,
mean,
I would like you to name
is
at
that
least
a
one.
fact?
At least name one.
Please, because I would too.
Okay, who would I? Stephen Curry. I think he's a man of God.
Stephen Curry is unfortunately allowing his wife to disrespect
Yes.
him all over
Fuck
social
no.
media. Twice already.
Masculine? Fuck no. He's far from that. He's a great ball player, though.
She said,
Great
I'm
ball player.
sad because
Incredible.
I don't have
I mean,
enough male
how can we
validation.
dictate if Aisha is coming from that type of space, or if she's
She is with a five-time. Is it five-time?
Shit,
Was
something
it
like
4
that.
times?
The greatest shooter of all time.
One of the
Let's just
greatest
say that.
three-point. Like that's
The
that's,
greatest.
that's,
my favorite
that
player,
is a
but,
top value
mean-
man right there.
I
A
mean,
family man, and she is deliberately disrespecting him.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Aisha. I'm talking about Stephen Curry.
That all comes down to his leadership,
We're,
though.
we're
Yeah,
staying
correct.
on top.
That all comes down to his leadership and the boundaries that he set in the beginning of the relationship.
But regardless of her, I think he's a great male figure right now.
Of how he should treat his wife. That's how you feel?
I'm saying a man overall.
Well,
As a guy.
look, we got an example. That was a simp. That's a simp, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay.
Basically.
Stephen Curry is a simp
Basically.
if he's letting.
And this is the epidemic that we're living in right now, ladies. I'll be honest with you. Neither of us have many other people to look up to. And that's the straight up truth. And we wonder why marriages are crumbling. We wonder why relationships are tanking. We wonder why all of this is going on in the world right now. I mean, we all know that women are really controlling the country right now. The president of the United States currently is just a face. So now let me actually ask you guys this question. Who gives you y'all's rights? Who has given you y'all's rights?
What you mean by that?
Like,
in
if
history?
we're talking like literally men.
Yep.
Gave us the right to work, the right to vote, the right to, basically anything. The right to
And do you believe that women could do anything to retaliate against if we decided to say, nah, we're going back to the way it was? Y'all are going back to the kitchen.
Do you think we could do anything?
Do you believe that women could do anything about that?
I think they could. Didn't they march back in the day? Like they marched. That was a part of the women's rights movement.
But marching can only do so much, ladies. Marching and protesting can only do so much.
I think that in this day and age, because of how far it's come, it's kind of impossible to go back.
Yeah.
It's very hard, very rare that a man can support a full family nowadays. Most incomes, especially like.
Well, that's more due to inflation, and that's more due to us removing the dollar from the gold standard in 1971. Again, the dollar's worthless right now, but we're inflating it and we're continuously printing. So that's one of the biggest reasons why men are in the positions that they're in right now.
A little side note, you know what's interesting about the dollar being devalued at around the same time that women's rights came into play, where they said, hey, go get a job. You're equal to a man. You can go do all of this. It's kind of interesting, the timing of that. It seems kind of motivated, not even by y'all. It seems to be motivated by an outside source, maybe like the 1%. Did y'all ever make that click? The hormonal birth control, women's rights, the devaluation of the dollar, and now y'all get that. Y'all out earn us. Y'all are more in college. But you want to settle when you're 30. That doesn't click at all? A little bit, maybe. That you're being lied to.
Lied to?
Yes.
Lied to how?
I think it will hit once they hit that certain age.
It'll sink in a little bit.
I think that's
well,
usually
not
what
everyone's
we
Kourtney Kardashian.
Yeah, I think
You
that
know?
really does hit, because whenever we do have older ladies on the show, like last week, I mean the viral clip that's going viral right now, actually, the lady with the blue hair that was here, like that whole clip is going viral right now with her crying. You know, because it really does hit, like whenever you start thinking about these things once you get older, you know, and past your prime.
Where I was going with that is they wanted to intentionally split up the household. You get more rent payments. You get double the houses, double the car payments, double that, essentially another taxpayer. That's why all that kind of happened at the same time, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, they want more taxpayers. They want more, and that's the reason why they divided the household in general. And this is the reason why, in a way, we can't, as men, be upset that women come off a little bit more masculine today, because when you are in the workplace, those are just the traits that are really necessary in the workplace, especially if you're dealing with confrontation on a daily basis. That's a masculine trait. Okay? And I know it's very difficult to turn it on and off once you enter the house again. But again, this is the thing that we have to realize. Equality in the workplace and equality in the household are two very different things. Two very different things. We can be equal all we want, men and women, in the workplace. As soon as you step foot in the household, there are roles for both of us.
Gender
It's
roles.
very different. Very, very different. And would you say, ladies, honestly, do y'all really enjoy working?
No, I wish.
Do y'all enjoy working? Like, cause I'll be honest with you, I've gone to a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different fast food restaurants. I'm surprised at how many women managers there are nowadays. But like even Starbucks or anything like that, like I hear that women have to take, 15-minute mental health breaks. I don't even know what that really means, to be quite honest. But do y'all even enjoy working?
I do.
You enjoy your job, but do you enjoy working?
I mean, I've always worked.
So you enjoy getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go to work?
Doing the same monotonous things every single day.
No, it's not really the same thing every day. But I mean, I enjoy work. I'm just ambitious like that. I don't have a problem with work. But if I had the opportunity to not work, then I wouldn't work.
How about y'all?
I made my passion my career. It doesn't pay much, but it's very fulfilling to me. So even if I didn't have to work, I would still do it.
I don't like to work, but this new job, the teaching job, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say be incompetent. Don't be a ditz, specifically. But Donnie, how much longer do we got?
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. We can ask like any last questions for the ladies, if y'all have any questions for us. And in particular, we usually like to close out by asking you guys, is there any one thing that you ever wonder about or would you want to know about whenever it comes to dating men? if not that, then you can also, if you're ever curious, what is one thing that you dislike about the current dating market?
I have a few questions. When we were talking about earlier, you said that men would like for a woman to ask for the relationship. Is that I've never heard of that. Could you elaborate on that? Because I feel like if I were to do that,
I was curious about that too.
yeah,
I was too.
So that's how you know you have genuine desire from the woman's end to yours, because she's going to be seeking out the relationship specifically.
Okay, so if I genuinely, when I get a guy's number, I kind of I'm very aggressive. Like the next day, I'm like, good morning, talk to you later, good night. So I feel like that's kind of my intent of letting you know that I'm serious about you, especially if I'm doing that for consecutive days. I usually do it for like 2 weeks.
But as y'all all said, y'all have problems with the boundaries that you've had in your relationships. And because of that, it's because you didn't ask first. And normally a man is actually not used to being asked this question first, because we're normally used to the chivalry that we kind of were used to back in the 50s, where we would court the woman, flowers, take her out on a date, yada, yada, yada. So we'll go ahead and do this. So this is very new. You have to know that women are operating at a different level right now. And this is why we're telling men, you need to just be in a position where you're the best version of yourself. And if she genuinely wants to be in a relationship with you, I've had a girl ask me that. Do you want to be my boyfriend? Do you want to be my guy? And then the boundaries are set from that point forward.
So you saying literally ask them out? I'm thinking that you mean like
I'm not talking about ask them out on a date. I'm talking about y'all have been dating for a little bit. Y'all have probably already slept with each other. And then it's getting to that point where you're just like, okay, where is this going?
Yep. I'm thinking you mean like what's the intent behind this? Like what's the
what are we?
What are we gonna do?
What are we?
It's a very important question to ask.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess. I mean, I get that. That's a difference. I'm not asking you, do you want to be my nigga? I mean,
you should.
You should.
We asked you for sex. We control the relationship, so you should ask us about the relationship if there's going to be one.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Again, that's how a lot of women get stuck in a situationship. Because you already gave up the box. Now you got to work for the relationship.
Yeah, because if he's not even a guy like that you're even considering in your head, like, is this guy worth being in a relationship with? Do I really want to be in a relationship with him? Do I see myself doing this long term, or was this just a couple of one night stands, a couple of nights that we've slept with each other, and that's it?
And it goes back to asking the men in your life to evaluate the men that you want, and it goes back to the discernment thing. In other cultures, before you even get to see the potential wife, the fathers interviewed you, took you out for coffee, grilled you, asked you 21 questions. The brother has asked you 21 questions. Freaking the dog doesn't like you, then you're out of the picture. But yeah, you need that manly discernment and to truly evaluate if a dude's on his shit or not. And we don't have a lot of that.
Cool. Does that make sense, ladies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was there any other questions?
Oh yeah, I have another question. So, what is it about when you have a successful man and a nice lady? What keeps him from not, taking a relationship further to where he might ghost, or he might talk to you again, or he might say, I can't talk to you every day. But, she's a nice lady and he's successful. Like, what is the block that happens there when a guy just doesn't want to take it further? He goes missing.
I think it just comes down to your intentions for him. And showing like that you want to add more value to his life, specifically other than just sex. Because again, that's the reason why sex is normally the first thing that takes place. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you're like, okay, I really enjoy this man's company. I could possibly see this being a little bit more long-term. How can I add more value to his life? How can I make it easier? This is normally to the point where you've also kind of like gotten to know like the basics about him, on how he like goes about his life on a daily basis. And maybe he is busy. And maybe he doesn't have a lot of time to text and call you. And to be honest, you guys will get bored of that as well. We tell men, the phone is for logistics only. It's only for logistics. I don't want to text you all day. I don't want to talk about our feelings all day. I want to set up a date. I want to set up something for us to get together in person. And then that's where we can go ahead and discuss all that.
What else? Anybody else have any questions?
You said as the dude to be like, what are we? Whenever you know what you had just said, like to initiate it and to tell him like you want him, or like what are we? So you don't feel like, oh, like that's pressuring him. Like, what if he's not ready for a relationship, or what if he
I
doesn't want a
wouldn't recommend it
relationship?
right away. I wouldn't recommend it like right off the bat, because just like if we told y'all, damn, I love you, right on the first day that we made love, that we had sex, damn, I love you, that would scare y'all off.
Yeah.
So it's the same way with us. Ladies, at the end of the day, we all know, like, we really don't know each other until like 6 months to a year later.
Yeah.
Like, really, we really don't. And then you really don't know someone until you actually start living with them
Yeah.
and start seeing their daily habits that you normally don't see
Yeah.
on a regular basis. So I don't think it should be that quick.
Yeah.
I think you should let a little bit of time go by.
Yeah.
But if they are willing to, you know, if they're worth y'all's sexual exclusivity, then you're gonna keep on going along with it.
Okay.
Do y'all believe that men and women can be just friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily,
such
but
differing opinions on that.
but that's tough for the 80% of men. I believe that for the 20% of men, that's a little bit different. I can have friends with girls because I was like, I'm very picky, so it's not like I want to sleep with everyone specifically. But I've built myself into the man that could have those types of options. For the average man, having a girl that's a friend and you're kind of just there being her orbiter, being just like someone that gives her resources ever so often. Because I mean, I remember back in the day, like I've had girlfriends as well, and like, you know, I would pay for dinners and stuff like that, like just friends, no sex involved, just platonic. But I wouldn't recommend that for the average person. I wouldn't recommend that for the average man, especially if they're all over like OnlyFans and pornography and all this stuff. Like, no, you need to build yourself into a man that is being sought after by women.
And they have an abundance mindset.
They won't want to be just your friend if they really want to be with you. And let's just say they do. What's cool about having friends and you're in a position where you can do that, they might introduce you to one of her friends.
I have one last question. So why aren't men really pursuing women these days? Other than just texting them or talking
Or
to them
dating apps.
on Instagram or something. You know,
'Cause
why
TikTok.
where's the pursuit like these days? Where's the romance? Where's the flowers? You know?
I go open the door, I get called a weirdo. I try to help you pick up your fucking waist off the floor, and I'm a fucking creeper. We don't want to come play ball anymore. I think that's what the majority of men, they want it, but they don't want to come play ball for the various reasons that we spoke of before.
Feminism killed chivalry. It's just what it is. And unfortunately, all the guys that women complain about as far as finances and everything goes, that also was by feminism. So it's what feminism wanted. And that's the thing, is like, y'all, people think that feminists are just like the crazy left blue-haired women that are marching on the streets. No, there's also many traditional wives in households and stuff like that are also feminists. They're just a different flavor. So it's just not as respected as it once was. It's not valued as it once was. Me doing the flowers, me picking you up, me doing all this stuff. No. Me taking you to a dinner, like me taking you let's just say I want to take you to a steakhouse. Me doing that for you and I haven't even had sexual reciprocation from you yet is an L on my part. I'm not going to spend $500 to $1,000 on you and me not get anything in return. I might get it in return by the end of the night. But to be quite honest, those odds are kind of stacked against us sometimes. So we tell guys, go out for drinks. Go out for a little appetizer. See what works there. Then go from there, at least 1 to 3 dates specifically. And if she is not wanting to rip your clothes off, y'all are both not wanting to rip your clothes off, there's no genuine desire there. You need to move on. Because all you're doing is wasting money.
So other than feminism killed chivalry, could there be anything else? Because I'm just hard. It's kind of biased to me a little
the
bit.
parasocial relationships that men have with OnlyFans girls. There's a reason why OnlyFans girls exists aside from the pornography girls, because there's some level of like I think I might have a chance. I think I might have a chance with this OnlyFans girl. And even though that she's not the one texting you, it's a guy in the background texting you. So it's just these things that, unfortunately, it's the constant staying inside. COVID, I'm not gonna wait. C-19 didn't help in 2020 either, because there were a lot of people that unfortunately were forced to stay in their house. They became antisocial, and there's still a lot of people that are like that right now. So it takes skills, ladies. It does, to be someone that can carry a conversation, not get boring, not lose your interest easily. It takes skill. And most men aren't willing to go ahead and build up those skills. It's the reason why we offer the mentorship that we offer for both men and for women. And we're actually literally the only people, not only in Dallas, but I would say nationally and internationally, that offer this type of mentorship for both men and women.
Awesome. So, any last thoughts about the show? Did y'all like it? Would y'all want to come back at all?
Yeah.
I messed with it.
I liked it.
All right, cool. And I do like to actually mention this. I know we talked a lot about, the different sexual dynamics whenever it comes to like men and women. Just know we do not hate women. We love women here. But one thing that we want to get across is for you guys to understand the men's mindset whenever it comes to dating. Some of the choices that women do make and how is there's consequences to certain decisions. Same with men, and why men and women do what they do. Because again, going back to Julian's question about who's more empathetic, men or women, most women aren't empathetic because I'm pretty sure a lot of what we talked about, this is the very first time that you heard about it, and this is actually how men think. And this is like barbershop talk pretty much, so whenever you guys go to the barbershop, this is probably shit that they're talking about in there with his other homeboys, just to be very honest.
But what about the nurses and the mothers and the single mothers? How are those women not empathetic?
They're nurturing. That's the difference. Empathy really, like, I can be empathetic with someone that went to jail because I've been to jail.
What about the women that take their husband back after they cheated? What about the women that believe in second chances, like me? I'm not a done deal on cheating. I'll give you another chance, but after that, that's it. I'm not a one and done on cheating because I'm just not.
The interesting thing about that, though. The interesting thing about that, though, is the general woman thinks that cheating, like the sexual acts, the man having sex and a woman having sex is exactly the same and that they're both emotional, and they're not. And that's the thing that this podcast does is we try to teach the differences between men and women, So, again, it goes back to women understanding men.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off of Sergio. There's been a study where, and it's the same with lesbian couples, it's the same with gay couples. The first question when a girl cheats on a man is, did you fuck him? We ask that to you. Normally because of paternity reasons. Did you fuck him? How did you fuck him? Where did you fuck him? Did he fuck you better than me?
Suck his fucking dick.
Now, for her, she's asking, do you love her? Because at that point, now I'm going to be sharing resources with her because I love her. And that's detrimental to you.
Why are you laughing?
Laugh at him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, any last questions before we close out?
No last questions.
All
It's
right.
been a pleasure.
Cool. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for Lord Julian Throne and as well as Ramar being our host today. Thank y'all for the guest that's joining us. We'll be back on Monday. Sergio should be back. Y'all have a great weekend and thanks for tuning in. Peace out.
What? Toodaloo, motherfucker. Hey.